All right. Excellent. Okay. What a day, huh, guys? Absolutely crazy. Good afternoon, traders. It is December 15th, Friday, 2023. A interesting session on Wall Street today. S&P futures currently down 375. Nasdaq futures up 64.75. We have, I believe, a record close in the Nasdaq 100 today. Hashtag that didn't take long. Bitcoin 42,154 down 877. Nat gas 2.469. Gold fighting to hold the 2030 pivot. This still looks like a continuation. Longer crude. Stout 7209 currently. Excuse me. The dollar. We saw the dollar. It's currently in a little bit of a bullish harami here, and you can see wild volatility in the dollar today. This was the session pop on the Williams comments. We got a curling wedge, a minor shallow channel, and then a two-wave corrective higher. We're expecting a retest of these highs here, 102.57. We based and came back to the secondary support pivot there around 102.47, and finally came back to the highs. So the dollar definitely holding strong, and you can see here on the daily, you do have a bit of a bullish harami inside bullish candle. So we'll see how that develops. As far as the indices are concerned, Dow Jones up 0.15%, S&P 500 flat, Nasdaq up 0.35%. I believe we had a record close in the Nasdaq 100. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that one. The VIX continues to leak lower, 1231 at the time of the cash close, and the 10-year under 4, the 30-year undercutting the 4 threshold for the first time, I believe, since July. And in terms of headlines today, that we started the day off on Williams' comments, not speculating what will happen on rates. Williams saying they are not really talking about rate cuts right now. Also saying, question is, have we got monetary policy to sufficiently restrictive levels? So that sufficiently restrictive levels is going to weigh heavily on CPI, PPI, and employment data. As far as Timiraos, after Williams, Timiraos came out saying New York Fed President John Williams tells CNBC the Fed is focused on whether it has done enough to raise raises. An apparent pushback of some of the rate cut vibes from the press conference on Wednesday. Rate cuts were quote unquote not the topic of discussion around what we are going to do. I'm sure the topic must have come up. Anyways, so that's Nick Timiraos' comments after the Williams comments. Fed's Bostic coming out saying rate cuts are not an imminent thing, but has instructed staff to begin developing possible principles, thresholds, and guides to the process. Bostic also coming out saying sees 2/4 percentage point interest rate cuts in 2024, with the first sometime in the third quarter, assuming expected progress in inflation continues. Risk of a new inflation spike has declined significantly. So that's from Bostic. In terms of unusual options activity today, unusual options on the Quad Witch, we had Zim. Zim, the February 10 calls, activity honored by the offer expiring February 16th. Macy's, that's ticker symbol M as in Mary, the December weekly 22 calls expiring December 29th. And AVTR, the January 24th, activity honored by the offer some big bets there, expiring January 19th. So that is the long and short of it. Let's take a look at the market. The IWM, little bit of piercing reversal today. You know, we were concerned about this general prior distribution top uh, off the July head and shoulders, and you know you're going through a period of absorption of prior supply, so that's understood to be what it is. The Dow, uh, we broke all-time highs yesterday, right? Yeah. So the Dow bullish, consolidating. You know, we do have a little bit of RSI volume divergence. We put in a lot of effort today, and put in a lot of effort today, and weren't able to break yesterday's high. Given the rebalancing, this is not really a major point of concern in terms of price volume divergence. Um, so that's what that looks like. Okay, so spiders spinning top off the daily 5 SMA, still in very much a bullish context. Triple Qs outperforming the spiders today, obviously, and the Nasdaq 100 with I think a record close today, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so that is the index ETFs. As far as the sectors, XLB, was it the second or third highest weighting in the S&P 500, came in today, held the 5 SMA on what looks like a more or less digested pullback. XLE Energy, inside bar, on decent volume, holding up, but building what looks like a little bit of an accumulation there for a right side base. XLU, coming in after Powell a little bit. XLRE, a real estate ETF, still in a bullish context. XLP, so consumer staples. This is one's a little bit more concerning. You're just unable to penetrate on this piercing reversal bar. This one could come in following weeks. Technology strong today. Industrials, look at this chart, mamma mia. Financials also in very bullish posture. XLC Communications building a new reaccumulation base. Your Metas, your Googles are looking good into next year most likely. Select Materials also at the top of a reaccumulation. Look how beautiful this chart looks, mamma mia. Materials looking good. XHB, which has exploded post Powell today, gave you a little bit of an inside day. Through 95.90, this thing looks very bullish. So very bullish looking chart. XBI looking a little bit toppy into this prior July highs, but still in a bullish context. The TAN also, I expect a lot of these solars to start running into their daily 200s. So SCDG, they're far away from their daily 200s, but we'll see. SCDG, ENPH, FSLR, run. I think that's run's actually over its 200 already. Sunrun, I don't trade this one. What a fall from grace. My goodness, look at that. And the KRE today, it's holding the gap, I guess. So what was my plan this morning? So my game plan this morning, post John Williams, I was bullish the Nasdaq. I thought buyers were going to come back in. So when Williams started talking, went on a bit of a shopping spree, bought AMD, Tesla, Amazon, Meta, and Nvidia. So this is the drop here. around 8:40 when he talks. So I bought AMD on the drop there, which was far less significant on AMD there, and rode it off the open into the pre-market highs. I was able to get a little bit off, but then I added back here and just trailed out break even-ish on AMD. So not really a terrible loss, very minor. Amazon, I bought it also on the on the Williams comments, and sold it into strength around 190, 149.80, 149.90. So that was great on Amazon. Beautiful trade off the open. Nvidia, we absolutely crushed this one off the um, Williams. It was holding tight here around the floor trader pivot, and we took it all the way. Caught like over $10. What's that? I think my cost basis were around 482.50, 483, and when we sold it right at 493.50. So phenomenal. This was the trade of the day for me on Nvidia. Meta also did really well. So we bought it on the Williams weakness and sold a bunch right into the R2 pivot, and then when it came back, bounced, I sold a little bit more, and I was out of it before it started crapping out. Tesla also bought it in the pre-market, and I was up a bunch on it. And then you can see here, you had this was a little bit more complicated. You had to absorb some of these prior sellers from the 250, 280s. So it was working, and then it came in, stopped working, and I took a small loss on Tesla. But overall, phenomenal morning. We closed our Unity software at target, 39.50 right here off the opening drive. So close that multi-day hold there. Fantastic. I think we bought it yesterday, right? Yeah. So this is a really nice move here in Unity. I missed the CRM entry. I called it out as a day trade idea through 257.32. Gave you a beautiful run today to 261.90. I just had too many other trades active there. I took some PDD off the 149s today, just on the Chinese data, so I sold some of this pop here. I still have some left, so the trade's doing just fine. Again, PDD we took on the daily buy setup right here. So we've been just riding this higher. So I took some off there on PDD, and yeah, just a really good day. I bought some Uber into the close for next week. It's a little bit of a riskier trade. We'll see what happens. Not a huge position, and bought Tesla with Kellier off of this flag break here in the 250, 250s. Sold some into the prior resistance level at 253.90, and I'm holding some into Monday. So fantastic day to wrap up a fantastic week for me personally, and it was a real pleasure to have you all with us. It's always great to have a nice big open house and lots of questions, and even me says Lance, lots of questions, lots of new people engaged in our community. It's great to see people join and participate. It's why I'm here to help traders out, help educate traders in what I consider to be proper technical analysis and trading practices. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Yeah, we had a great week. How about a big hand of applause to our beautiful trading counselors and our amazing moderators this week. Thank you, guys. Big applause. What's up, Judy? Where were you today? Were you out? Great to be here for the open house. Thank you very much. Yeah, you got a VR. I hope some of you guys get to join us. So yeah, excellent week. Excellent way to end the week today. I took, this morning it was a bit of a risky bet, right? Because it looked like Mr. Williams, John Williams of New York Fed fame, was really gonna hurt the market. But you can see the S&Ps. This was where was Williams? Williams was right around here. So you can see the S&Ps came in and initially held this anchor here, and then we bounced into the open. So when we held the initial pivot low anchor, I was confident that the Nasdaq was going to outperform the S&Ps today. I said that before the open, so it was a conviction play. I was looking for that technical bounce. It seemed to me like tech was going to be bought today, at least off the open, and a little bit of a riskier bet, but it really paid off very nicely. So, is that John Williams? You have a lot to review. Well, Bob, you're not alone. If you're joining us, we do this every evening, and I'm here to help traders paying it forward for all the people who have helped me in the past. All right, so let's see what we got here. If you have time tonight, says Andrew. All right, let's play Andrew in the proper way. All right. All right. Let's see what Mr. Ponytail has to say. Okay, I know it's Friday. I'll keep it short. It's all right, bro. Just as long as I don't have to do push-ups, I'm good. All right. Uh, I've added looking at 4 charts to my morning and nightly routine. You have to look at multiple time frames. Finally, okay. Zoom out. Zoom out. Good. Weekly, daily, 60-minute. It helped a lot this week in staying out of lethargic stocks. Going. You know what probably helped you out? Not doing like 800,000 burpees every time you make a mistake. That's what's probably helping you out, dude. Just saying. In that vein, I found Uber this morning. I know I'm shocked too. I like the daily buy setup pictured on the bottom right. Intraday, I noticed it held the descending channel from yesterday, then closed above view up. My entries are detailed on the chart. Okay. So, all right. You added on the 5-minute shakeout. Okay, good. Do you think my first entry was aggressive? I don't know. Let's take a look. I mean, if you're you were buying the dip on it. This is like the first thing you have to ask yourself, Andrew, on a stock that is in play is the dip being bought in this name? The answer is a raging yes, right? So this is your prior value area high off your shakeout, right? You had shakeout, V bottom platform, and you see that there? I'm making this a purple line for you. So the first question I ask myself, like a lot of traders don't do this. I didn't see that range. A lot of traders don't do this, but like you have to think, how is this stock behaving? What happens? What happens every time this sells off at the open? Is it being bought? Yes or no? The answer for Uber is yes. Okay, what's that level? Well, I don't know. It looks like 6160. Okay, cool. That's nice. Okay, do we have a viable technical setup here for a reversal? Yes. Okay, what are my pre-market levels? Okay, so you do something like this, right? Let's make this yellow so we follow our color coding. Like this is something that I was really late to in my trading career in terms of observing, and it's super important. Like every stock has certain quirks, has like personality traits that, I mean, they're shared by many stocks, but sometimes they behave a certain way, right? So dip buying in this Uber has been a thing. So you may have not seen this level, but you were probably expecting the dip to be bought, right? I'm guessing. You do now. Okay. Do you think my entry was aggressive? No, I don't think your entry was aggressive. You basically took the bottoming reversal there. I mean, yes, it's aggressive, but it makes sense. So let's look at the 5-minute there. yeah, so you 61.89 would have been the 5 minute entry there. You know, you have a reasonable stop here also. So if you took it on the 5 minute, you know, you had about a 30, let's call it a 35-cent stop. Your pre-market high target would have been 2 to 1. So that's already good enough for government work, right? And if you were shooting for 63.04, which is would have been my target, you had a 3.3 to 1. So if you were shooting for R1, which would have been the next technical target, you had a 4 to 1. So risk reward check. You know, how is the stock behaving on dips? Check. Technical setup, aggressive but check. Yeah, so I like this trade. I think why is the pre-market high at an important level? Well, what are all those pre-market buyers looking to do the minute price gets to it, John? Say you buy Tesla at $257. It opens at 253, and you're sitting there going, holy shit, oh my god, I'm down money. Oh no, what's gonna happen? I'm a terrible trader. I'm gonna die, and then it comes back into your break even. What are you most likely to do, John? Not a trick question. Yeah. So your pre-market levels often indicate a potential level of overhead supply, right? Uh, what's the name of the indicator with the horizontal blue bars? This here is a volume profile. It shows you where the point of control and the top of value was for this consolidation. It is a likely level where buyers will come in, right, and buy. So have you ever heard of the concept polarity shift or resistance becoming support? No. Well, the value area is a great place to indicate a demand zone where you break out of a prior area of equilibrium. When you come back to it, oftentimes you'll bounce and the trend will continue higher. So leg one, leg two. See what I'm saying? So okay, let's go back to Andrews. So assuming I had more shares, how could I have managed this trade better? I saw the ledge at the bottom of the channel, end of day, and I was like, this can't be good. Okay. Okay, was that your technical assessment? This can't be good. I guess what I'm missing was my idea no longer valid? When is the prospect of 6405 gone? Okay, so you're talking about this ledge right here? Yeah. Well, I'm still in it, and I didn't like that ledge either. So let's see what you did. I think you did this. I think you did fine on this one. So you sold some at 63.25, right near the floor trader pivot. I would have probably taken, like, if I was trading Uber as a day trade, right, and I was not looking to hold it for the break of all-time highs, I would have probably sold the entire position here at R3, at R1, excuse me. I think you did fine. Here's what I don't like, okay? Using the top of a declining channel as support without, look, I think the reason Uber bounced is because bots into dips into prior value areas are being bought, not because you had some line here. Remember, this is a declining line, right? So buying declining lines often ends in tragedy. That is, for me personally, most of the time, not a compelling reason in any way, shape, or form to be buying a bounce. Okay. Now, when I'm when I'm going when I'm in an uptrend, okay, and a tremendous effort has been undertaken, and I see the bottom of an ascending channel, okay, I will sell into that. So, for example, Meta, you guys remember this week our targets on Meta were the top of this ascending line, right here, right? Uh, and you notice here you had trouble again, you had trouble again, you got some trouble again. So I agree, was likely cause of. I would imagine that was the reason it bounced. Yeah. So, but no, good stuff, Andrew. I'm really happy to see that you're doing a little bit of multiple time frame analysis in your trading, and you're not, you have a tendency, because you're so focused on mastering technicals, you have a tendency to really zoom in and look at one or two technical indicators that confirm a bias you might have, but you really need to look at the larger time frames, to be, um, I think, to have a little bit more confirmation of what's happening. All right, let's see here. So next week's calendar. So we've got on Tuesday building permits, housing starts, API weekly, crude stock, and then post after hours earnings, FedEx. That's going to be a big one, big weather vane for the economy. Consumer confidence on Wednesday, existing home sales, crude oil inventories, existing home sales, and a 20-year bond auction probably at 1 p.m. again. Thursday, GDP jobless claims. This is going to be important. Thursday's going to be a big day. Philly Fed, and a 5-year tips auction. Again, these are going to be important. Earnings from Nike and Nike on Thursday, and Micron after the close on Wednesday. And then Friday, finally, durable goods, PCE, new home sales, personal spending. The PCE, obviously, it's going to be very important post Powell and then post John Williams. Okay, so Powell fluffed up the market. Williams came in with a cold shower. We'll see what happens. You know. So that's what we got. I'm happy to open the floor to any technical questions, especially for our open house attendees. Feel free to fire away, guys. I'm here to do my best to answer any technical questions you might have from this week. My settings for volume profile, yeah, they're pretty standard. My row size is 24. I can just copy and paste this for you guys. David thinks I should narrow my volume rows, which I'm going to work on. I agree, David. I do need to do that. Get a little finer row on my volume bars. You're official now. Well, thank you. Welcome aboard, sir. Welcome aboard. Next week we get to stop pretending to be nice. So that's great, Devin. Just kidding. How do you get your RSI over the volume? I have no idea. It's funny. I have a computer engineering degree, but when it comes to computer stuff, I'm a total Luddite. Ralph set this up for me. I think you can just overlap. You just move it. I think you can just go here on this. You say move pane up or move pane down. I think that's how you do it. Would I define a value area? Sure. So in terms of a volumetric profile, okay, your value area is the top and bottom of your Gaussian curve, which basically points to 68.6% of all traded volume. Okay, so these are your volume bars, right? And this is your Gaussian curve. You didn't think I would have that one in my back pocket, huh? What's next? 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine? I got you. Crimea, Donbass, Just kidding. All right. Little political humor. Um, what's next? Uh, I tried, but it keeps going over. I'm definitely not the right person to ask. Um, like I just show up and the charts work, and when they don't work, I dial the entry on my phone that says Ralph, and I can hear him hissing on the other end, and then he just fixes it. So, can you discuss a little bit at the end how you prepare a watch list? Sure. So, watch list preparation is an absolutely essential part of a successful trader's journey. In order to in order to succeed in this business, you have to have you have to come into the day with a general with a general set of well articulated uh, thesis. What's the plural of theses? Well, let's just call them ideas. So a well articulated set of ideas that hinge on contingencies, right? So when I come into the market every morning, I try to articulate in my uh, troglodytics, broken English, as well as I can, what I think the potential scenarios for the day are, right? So on a day like today, right, we were looking for 47.69.50 and 47.60 to be the primary two levels the market would be testing over and over. And that's exactly what happened, right? So on a day like today, I'm expecting some kind of declining line to be holding buyers down and some kind of support to be, for bidders to be holding the market up. So I'm expecting a potentially uh, neutral to bearish kind of day with a lot of chop, which is what happened today in the ES, right? I also said I was expecting relative strength in the triple Qs, which is also what happened today. So now, oftentimes it's not what happens that day. So I have to have a set of contingencies so that when certain contingencies trigger, I know what to be I know what to be doing if that in fact occurs, right? So this morning, as an example, right? I thought Williams when Williams started talking, I came into the market thinking, okay, they're gonna buy the Nasdaq leadership for an opening drive, and then most likely the Qs are gonna stall at R1. So I was ready in that plan to do exactly that. So the Qs came in, right? Large cap tech had a two-wave corrective, and guess what? We stalled exactly at R1. So I knew that I needed to get off when the Qs were, around. This happened around 11:30. So I knew that once we tagged R1, I was punching my card. So Meta at 11:30, right, was time to punch out. 11:30, what happened? Two-wave corrective, test of the 5-minute 200. Amazon. And I'm not saying this in any way, shape, or form to try to uh, flex on you guys. What I'm saying is, I I had a specific game plan and thesis for what I thought was going to happen, and I followed it. So building a watch list and a game plan for the day is super important, because otherwise, when you leave trading decisions to things not your game plan, your emotions, your general intuitions, your whims, you start to do weird things. Okay, it's up here. Should I sell it? Should I buy it? Should I take half? Oh my God, what should I do? When you start to try to outsmart and outguess the market, um, you run into trouble. I am 10 times smarter at 9:29 than I am at 9:31. It's like I go from a regular triple digit IQ person into Lenny from of Mice and Men, right? There's more stress, there's more sensory input in the market. So I can't, there's only, in terms of my decision making firepower, right? There's so much sensory input I can take in without having predetermined decisions already made with an actual decision fork of contingencies already mapped out. If I try if I try to decide what to do on the fly, there's just too much preparation that hasn't been done. So the first part of watch listing is creating a very clear set of contingency dependent decisions that I'm going to have to make during the day if contingency A, B, or C trigger, right? And we go over those in the pre-market as best we can. The second thing, right, is looking at, I follow, depending on where we are in the price cycle and in the market, I follow between 250 and 500 names, and it's a watch list I curate, right? So I'm constantly adding names, taking names away, and I'm looking at these names constantly. Every night I go through my list, right, and I add names and delete names. I have a pink list, which is my most actionable names, the things that are moving. I don't care if they're moving up or down. What I want is volatility and motion in one or the other direction, right? So I curate these names, I add them to my watch list, right? For example, ADSK, we studied it a couple of weekends ago, and we said a couple of weekends ago, okay, we're about to break out of a major, year and a half long base. Here's the trigger, right? We alerted this in the room when it broke as a potential breakout, right? So when this is happening, our list is curated. We're ready to take action if we want, and fewer decisions have to be made in real time, right? So every night I look at the multiple time frames of the names I'm looking at. Sentiment is very important, right? There are times when the market is doing certain things, right? Earlier this week, they were selling winners and buying laggards, right? This is the kind of cycle we're in. The TAN has been getting beaten up since 2022, absolutely destroyed. What did the market start to do as soon as we had a perception of the Fed capitulating to the bread and circus crowd, aka the market? They started buying the most beaten up interest rate sensitive names, right? Your Solars, your regional banks. Home builders aren't beaten up, but they're very interest rate sensitive. Your gold skyrocketed, etc. So understanding sentiment shifts, understanding rotations, sector rotations, and sector strength is absolutely essential to making sure that when the market opens, that you're fishing in the right pond, right? You want things that are moving with a tremendous amount of momentum in the market, because those are going to be names that are going to be far more forgiving if, say, you buy them when they're overextended, or you sell them when they're overextended, etc. So we want to be in names that are going to give us the highest probability of success as possible. So multiple time frame analysis, sector strength, and measuring where things are within the price cycle are very, very important. Okay. How to be energetic? The answer is coffee. Bustelo. It comes in a gallon size tin. How do you play earnings with stocks before earnings? I don't. Sometimes I'll play earnings run-ups, but not. I don't usually play earnings before. During the earnings report, I will sometimes play the earnings. Also, how do you gauge which way the stock will move before the day before earnings are released? I typically don't. I'm not very good at making predictions on earnings. Very few people are, and sometimes you're right about the direction. A name will beat on everything, issue higher guidance, and they'll still tank it. It's just almost impossible to say. Earnings gamble. Only way to play them is hedging. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so, Julian. I guess that's correct. Better to wait for the IV flush. Yeah. I like to, sometimes I'll play earnings after the report in the post market, but I definitely, there are people in this room who are like savants with earnings. We have a member, Kathy. She's out. She's amazing at calling, direction after earnings, and getting it right for earnings. I am not that guy. Um, How do you protect your R1 target? I don't know what you mean, John D. Yeah, she's amazing. Kathy's uh, just there. We have some monster traders in this room. I don't know what you mean by protect your R1 target, John. Uh, she really should get to. How do I project? Oh, how do I project? Uh, well, I don't have to. The targets are on my screen, right? Here's Meta, for example. Got blue through R1, I took some off. Blue through R2, I took some off. Uh, and when it bounced, it went right back to the R2 pivot. You know, these are mathematically calculated um, pivots that are respected. They're respected by traders. They're respected by the computers. So I don't have to project. I can literally just look at the chart. You know, they're not based on Fibonacci levels. They're based on open high-low closes. That's what they're based on, Jose. So, um, have you ever used scans to find pre-market movers? Yeah, I mean, I'll typically look at a pre-market mover scan. The most important thing for me, Bree, is pre-market volume. But oftentimes you don't have a lot of pre-market volume, and then a name like Amazon or Meta will just explode after a market on open. But I do look at imbalances for sure. And yeah, I'll look at the gappers. The problem is when you're doing pre-market scans, there's a lot of garbage there. I don't trade the low float thingamajiggies. You know, the $3 low floaters that some newsletter is going to pump it up $4 and then dump it on their clients. You know, we're trading mid cap and large cap names here, mostly large cap. So you know, if Meta or Amazon, you know, or a smaller name like say Uber or Unity or Upstart are gapping up in the pre-market, I can just look at my chart. So I'm not really uh, scanners are super helpful if you trade a large universe of small cap names. You know, there's there's 30 or 40 names that are on my monitor at all times, and I'm trading that usually that universe of stocks, right? I have a two or three transportation stocks I look at, one or two healthcare names, two or three industrials, two or three energy names, three or four cloud names, three or four cybersecurity names, and then the Nasdaq generals, and that is all I need, right? On top of that, I trade S&P futures, so it's like a scanner is not so important for me. Um, how do you look at daily volume on average daily volume over a million shares? Uh, do you look for on for my scans? Yeah, I don't. I never trade anything under a million shares, Deepak. No, never. That's not liquid enough. Also, I'm running a room, right? So you know, oftentimes I'll be in a name if there's 300 or 400 people buying the same name, and I'm buying, I don't know, uh, and I'm buying OLED, and it's printing, you know, per bar, what does it print volume wise? Uh, it's printed 12,000 shares on the day. You know what I mean? Like, I could accidentally move the market. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to be in. I mean, for my own sake, because I like to be in highly liquid names, but there's also like an ethical component to that. So I can't be chasing low float small cap names, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and if I'm trading those, I'm not calling them out because there's an issue there ethically. You know what I'm saying? Also, those things can really blow people up. So high levels of liquidity. You know, it's not sexy, right, to be trading the Qs and spiders and Amazon. You know, there's not a lot of 200% moves in this room. We're about trading high liquidity, tight spreads, high volume. You know, things that aren't going to make or break anyone, or at least break anyone. I like the diversity we're looking at. There will always be, yeah, exactly. This look every day, even when the market is dead, there's three or four crazy names. You know, something is going to be going bananas. Palo Alto will have some news, or PayPal will be running on some fintech thing, or AI. You know, somebody will say something about AI and it'll move $3 in 20 minutes. Right? There's always something that happens that's positive. So I'm never super worried. So money never leaves the market. It moves from one sector to another. No, it leaves the market all the time. Money goes to bonds. If you're getting 5-6% on your cash, there's a lot of money leaving the market sometimes, right? But yeah, otherwise it just moves around. Sure. Yep. Great questions. Great questions for sure. But yeah, I don't. I look at the scanner in the morning really quickly, but I don't really, because I trade a rather limited number of thumbnails. I'm looking at 30, 40 names tops, and one of those is always moving. So the important thing is to just, if you're going to take a trade, it has to either be a high probability trade or you really need momentum on that name on the day. Otherwise, I just leave it alone. If Meta is just chopping around in a $1.50 range, I'm just not trading it that day. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Anything else our open house attendees want to talk about before we call it a night? Amber is putting out her offer here. Yeah, curating a list is really important. Bree, are you joining us after this open house? Amber's going to need a bucket of coffee. Are you getting slammed with emails, Amber? If you are, just if you ask me next week after the wrap up, and I'll do my watch list live after the wrap up with you guys, so you can see how I can put it together, how I put it together. Just ask me, and I'll be happy to do it. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us this week. It was a pleasure to have you. Amber's amazing. This place would look like Mad Max Thunderdome. Uh, Mad Max Thunderdome without her. Uh, I'm a hell of a technician. I've just been around a long time, Enrique. I've just been around a long time. Okay. Um, well, thank you everyone for attending this week. We will be back Sunday night for our weekly watch list, and back Monday morning between 8:45 and 9. Have an amazing, amazing weekend, everybody. We will be back. We will be back on Sunday night. Take care, everyone. All right, I'll sit down and watch it with
Can you take us snowboarding tomorrow?
you. Maybe. I'd like to.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just take that
We're not
downstairs.
gonna go snowboarding at all this season, dude.
We're gonna go.
I wanna go snowboarding.
I know.
You know how important this is to me?
I know it's
Do
very
you
important.
know?
Stop, stop, stop. Go downstairs. I'll sit down. I'll be down with you in a minute.
Oh, Rebecca's here, the one that always comes out the cat.